Hello everyone, this is Dr. Matt Westbrook. Socialism is in the news a lot, and there are a lot of socialists, it seems, among us. There's a recent Pew survey, I'll try to put the link in the comments below, in the description below, that indicates a majority of Democrats do not have confidence in the capitalist system and have a favorable opinion of socialism. Now, this is concerning for a number of reasons, but we really should spend some time talking about what socialism is, how it relates to communism, and some basic assumptions about the worldview. I want to explore all these things with you so we can get a better grip on the kind of arguments we need to refute socialist advocacy. And to that end, I want to develop a video series on socialism in 3 parts. In the first video, I want to talk about the assumptions that are made by people who advocate for the socialist system. And the assumptions have to do with human nature. And this is a big one. If you understand the assumption about human nature behind the socialist worldview, it helps to make sense of a lot of the actions that they end up performing in the real world. Secondly, I want to talk about how the assumptions about human nature lend themselves to the development of the kind of political systems that we see coming out of socialism. Socialist governments, how they tend to turn into totalitarianism, the kinds of things that they advocate as compared and contrasted to the capitalist system. And in the third video, I want to talk about, and this is a strange one, I want to talk about the end times theology of the socialist system. Now, it may not sound like something that applies, but it will when we get to the video, in that socialists have an outcome that they desire, an end game, and that end game is a utopian future, a better future, a just future in their own minds. And the reason that's important is because when you have an end game in mind, it tends to shape the kind of activities that you do in the present, or the tactics that you use. It justifies the type of activity you think is necessary to bring about the end goal. And so those 3 things, the assumptions about human nature, the kinds of political systems that get built off of those assumptions about human nature, and then the end times theology, the end game of socialism, are the 3 most important aspects of socialism that will help you to understand socialism in the present and what we are beginning to see. You can find a lot of socialist videos online. There's a very interesting gentleman who used to be part of the USSR. He was born and raised there, and he likes to go around interviewing young socialists and talking to them about their views and comparing it with his own experience. I'll put a link in the description below to his videos. A lot of the information I have comes from reading that I have done. I'm not an expert in communism or socialism. My expertise is in religion and society. But the overlap there, and where I believe that I can speak on this, is belief systems and how people go about exercising their belief systems in the world. And in that way, socialism tends to function like a religion. In fact, it has been described by Marxists themselves. Marxism has been described as a heretical version of Christianity, and that's interesting. We'll talk about that a little bit in the future videos as well. So, a lot of my reading from Joshua Muravchik's book, Heaven on Earth, where he details the history of socialism, including socialism in the United States. It's an excellent book. There's also a documentary series, or a long about a 2.5-hour documentary on the book, and it's really helpful as well. I'll also put that in the description, and so you can view it for yourself. But it pays for us to have this discussion amongst ourselves, to try to make applications in the present, and to draw whatever we can, whatever type of predictions we can from what it is we're seeing among the socialist activism that is occurring here in the United States and indeed all over the world. So I hope you'll join me for this series, and each of the videos in the series will be about 20 minutes long. So enough to keep your attention. We'll have some pictures and video clips and sound clips interspersed in the videos that I'm going to be making. I hope you'll join me. Thanks.